Warner Brothers is for commentary purposes. Please understand and thank you.
Don't forget to subscribe!
We're tiny, we're toony, we're all a little loony. And in this cartoony, we're invading your TV. We're comic dispensers, we crack up all the censors. On Toon Adventures, get a dose of comedy. So here's at the acres, it's a whole wide world apart. Our home sweet home stands alone, a cartoon work of art.
The scripts were rejected, expect the unexpected.
On Tiny Toon Adventures, it's about to start.
They're furry, they're funny.
They're Baz and Buster Bunny. Montana Max has money. Elmira is a pain. He's hunting
And plucky.
Busy Devil yucky. Her balls are yucky. And Go-Go is insane. At Acme University we earn our Toon degree. The teaching staff's been getting laughs since 1933. We're tiny, we're toony, we're all a little loony. It's Tiny Toon Adventures, come and join the fun. And now our song is done.
Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Princess Wi-Fi, and this is my partner Pikachu.
Pika! Call me Coco. I am the mermaid princess of the South Pacific Ocean.
My name is Karen. I am the mermaid princess of the Antarctic Ocean. My name is Noelle, and I am the mermaid princess of the Arctic Ocean. I am the pretty Agarian who fights for love and for courage. I am Sailor Jupiter. I'll fill you with regret. It'll leave you numb. My name is Sarasa. I am E.T.'s sister. Hey, don't forget about me. I'm Roka, and I am Sarasa's sister-in-law.
My name is Kisasoma. The animal in the zodiac that I symbolize is the tiger.
Call me Hirosoma. The animal that symbolizes the zodiac is the sheep, and that is me.
A fine pleasure to meet you.
My name is Kotoko.
My name is Amazina Mori. I can transform into Amulet Heart, Amulet Spade, Amulet Clover, Amulet Diamond, Amulet Angel, Amulet Devil, and Amulet Fortune. Hello, my name is Julia. I can transform into Iris Heart.
My name is Vert. I can transform into Greenheart. I am Nico Robin, a treasure hunter. Pleasure to meet you.
My name is Kami.
I am Ochako Uraka.
Let's go! Hey! Nice to meet you!
Call me Nejire Haro.
I am Itsuka Kendo. Pleasure to meet you. What's up, a Black Star? I'm Nozomi. It's a pleasure to meet you.
I'm pleased to meet you. I am the head of the Kariri family. Recap Kariri.
I am Kaname Chidori. It's a pleasure.
My name is Hestia. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Hi there, I'm Machi. Nice to meet you. I am called Rula. Be grateful. I'm not giving you any punishment.
I am Lapusel. Pleased to meet you.
You can call me Sister Nana.
Nice to meet you. My name is Snow White. Pleasure to meet you.
About us, I'm Nagisa 1. And I'm Nagisa 2. Naruto? My name is Hikaru Shido. I represent the element of fire.
My name is Fuhochi, and I represent the element of wind.
I'm Umi Ryuzaki, and I represent the element of water.
Hi, I'm Happy. I'm an Exceed from Extalia, and a member of the Fairy Tale Guild.
Good day, I'm Carla. I am an Exceed as well. And we are also in the Fairy Tale Guild.
Hey there, I'm Wendy Marble. I'm a Sky Dragon Slayer.
My name is Romeo Combo. I'm the only son of Fairy Tale's mage, Macau Combo. And I'm a mage of the Fairy Tale Guild.
I'm Hana Kosho. I am the mermaid princess of the South Atlantic Ocean.
Glad to meet you. I'm Rina Coin, and I am the princess of the North Atlantic Ocean.
Hiya, I'm Manatsu. It's a pleasure. Hi, I'm Annie. Nice to meet you. Call me Tony Sumotori. Nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Senju, and I'm the handsome one.
I am Xiaomei. It's a pleasure.
Adam!
Hey, I'm Julia. It's a pleasure to meet you.
You heard that? Oh, I'm so embarrassed.
Hey there, I'm Carter from Bethany, the invisible girl. Let's get this thing started.
Hi everyone, my name is Kimberly. Hi everyone, it's Kimberly. Hi, I'm Jasmine, a gym leader. Hi, I'm Princess Tachikawa. And I'm Coraline.
In our previous episode, we reviewed Sailor Moon R the movie. But how about we start with something new? Introducing Warner Brothers Animation's 40th anniversary reviews. In this new segment, which is a spin-off of Team Pikachu reviews, where we all look at every single Warner Brothers Animation show. We're not counting the anthology Big Cartoony Show, from Tiny Toons to Animaniacs 2020. So, let's get started.
Who are Tom Ruegger and Steven Spielberg?
This man right here is Steven Spielberg, the executive producer of Tiny Toons Adventures. And, according to resources, Tom Ruegger is also the producer of Tiny Toons Adventures. According to writer Paul Dini, Tiny Toons originated as an idea by Terry Stimmel, and the then president of Warner Brothers, who wanted to inject life into the Warner Brothers animation department, and at the same time create a series of junior versions of the Looney Tunes characters. Stimmel proposed that the new series would be a show based on Looney Tunes, where the characters were either young versions of the original Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies characters, or characters as the offspring of the original characters.
The idea of a series with the basis of younger and junior versions of cartoon characters was common at the time, the era in which Tiny Toons was produced, and where had such cartoons as Muppet Babies, A Pup Named Scooby-Doo, which Tom Ruegger worked on, Tom and Jerry Kids, The Flintstones Kids, and Son of Popeye. Warner Brothers chose to do the same thing because Spielberg wanted to make a series similar to Looney Tunes. As the series producer, showrunner Tom Ruegger explained, "Well, I think in Warner Brothers' case, they had the opportunity to work with Steven Spielberg on the project. But he didn't want to just work on characters that Chuck Jones, Rick Spreadling, Blog McKimson, and Bob Clampett made famous and creative. He wanted to be involved with the creation of some new characters. And the result was a series similar to Looney Tunes without the use of the same characters." So on January 20th, 1987, the Warner Brothers Animation Studio approached Spielberg to collaborate with Stimmel and Warner Brothers head of licensing Dan Romanelli on Stimmel's ideas. And they eventually decided that the new characters would be similar to Looney Tunes characters with no direct relation. However, Tiny Toons did not go into production then, nor it was planned to be made for television, and the series was initially made to be a theatrical-length feature film. However, a year later, December 27th, 1988, Tiny Toons was changed from a film to a television series with Gene McCurdy overseeing production of the first 65 episodes. He said that Tiny Toons was changed to a television series to reach a broader audience. And, for the series, McCurdy hired Tom Ruegger, who previously wrote cartoons for Filmation, and Hanna-Barbera to be a producer. In January 1989, the next year, Ruegger writer Wayne Katz began developing the characters in the setting of Acme Acres with Spielberg. On January 9th, 1989, the same year, Warner Brothers Animation chose its voice actors from over 1,200 auditions and put together its 100-person production staff. A few months later, on April 13th, 1989, full production of series episodes began with 5 overseas animation houses and a total budget of $25 million. The first 65 episodes of the series aired in syndication on 135 stations, beginning a year later on September 1990. During that time, Tiny Toons was a huge success and got higher ratings than its Disney animation competitors in some markets. After a successful run in syndication, Fox obtained the rights for Season 3, and productions of the series halted in late 1992 to make way for Animaniacs the air the following year. Keep in mind that Team Pikachu has been reviewing content since day one. So let's ask ourselves 2 questions. 1, how well does Tiny Toons hold up today in 2022? And number 2, do you think if the show is good for your watching? So with that being said, this is Tiny Toons Adventures, The Looney Beginning. Let's kick things off with the plot in The Looney Beginning.
Our screwball duck, Daffy, is pitching his new film idea, Honey, I Shrunk the Laundry, to Warner Brothers Studios, only to have them rejected by kicking Daffy off the property. So Bugs Bunny welcomes the viewers at his mansion, which has a large pole shaped like his head, and specialized glass plates in the windows that resemble a carrot, and tells them that he agreed to narrate the origin of the new show, Tiny Toons Adventures, as it's made as long as he paid it in advance. A disembodied hand gives him a check, but he doesn't accept checks, as they always bounce. And he demonstrates by literally drop-kicking it, and after being paid in a dump truck full of carrots, Bugs begins our story. An animator is in trouble, because his new cartoon series idea, the Montana Max Show, is being rejected by the network. So he needs a new idea for his series or else he'll lose his job. Bugs suggests having a rabbit as the main protagonist, and the animator attempts to create various rabbit characters. After rejecting this sweet-talking baby rabbit, this thing will give people cavities! And the Rambo-esque muscular rabbit that will get past the Parents Teachers Association! He eventually decides to split the difference, so he created Buster Bunny. And after being given a splash of color in a red shirt, Buster asks for a best friend, so the animator creates Babs Bunny. So Buster is reluctant at first, and to have a girl for his best friend, but is impressed by Babs making impressions. Glinda the Good Witch, Dolly Parton, and Jessica Rabbit. The last of which ends with a kiss that electrifies and melts Buster. Shortly afterward, they are given their names, and then jump off the page and kiss the animator. And, embarrassed by that, the artist crumples them up, discarding them in the trash, and they leave.
Because of it, Babs and Buster escape from the trash in a crumpled condition, ironing themselves when they land, and decide to create the new series by themselves. They create the show setting of Acme Acres and hold auditions for characters to inhabit it. So, they select sidekicks and friends in Hampton, Lucky Duck, Furball, and Sweetie, and Go-Go Dodo, so they promptly sent to Wacky Land. And they also decide that they need more characters, so they let everyone else in that was still in line. They include Bookworm, Shirley, Fifi, Concord, Sneezer, Byron, Calamity, Beeper, and Barky Marky. They also needed villains for the series, so they decided to go to the villains box, which Buster pushes off of the shelf, and unleashes Dr. Gene Slicer and other nasty meanies. Elmira Duff and Dizzy Devil are the last two to exit the box, in which Buster calls leftovers as Elmira chases Dizzy into the drawing of Acme Acres. Buster remarks that they will be pushovers, as suddenly Montana Max comes bursting out of the box, now with flames bursting out of it, with an angered roar scaring the bunnies, and angry that his show was rejected by the network after the animator promised him his very own show. He goes around looking for the animator in the drawing of Acme Acres, which Babs falsely points to when Monty demands to know where he is.
The bunnies work hard at completing many scripts for the show as Hampton types them all out, but Monty sneaks up, riding Arnold knocks the bunnies out of the drawing with a golf club. He steals their scripts and their show, renaming it the Montana Max Show, which he, as Monty states, will be the only star. Buster and Babs are ready to give up, and as Monty continues to wreak havoc on Acme Acres and the characters, Bugs decides to step in. As Buster and Babs plead and beg on their knees for help, Bugs paints in Acme University, where the characters will get cartoon knowledge from past Warner Brothers cartoon stars as their teachers, including learning how to deal with their adversaries, who, according to Bugs, always fall for their cheesy disguises.
You're not wrong, Sith! Anyway, Buster and Babs disguise themselves as Yosemite Sam and Elmer Fudd, respectively, to get the scripts back from Max and head to his mansion. So Max locks the scripts away in his wall safe, and as the bell rings, he lets in his heroes, disguised bunnies who wanted to know how Monty got rid of those varmints, and they demonstrate various dangerous ways on Monty on what he could have done to accomplish this, including dropping a bowling ball in his foot and hitting him with a giant fly swatter. Monty responds, "Nope, all I did was steal their scripts!" And he points them to the open safe with the scripts in plain sight. The disguised bunnies take the scripts and begin to leave. but Monty sees through the disguises and a chase ensues, which is similar to the Raiders of the Lost Ark's opening scene, with Buster and Babs being nearly taken out by many of Monty's traps, including giant snapping teeth and cannons that shoot bags out of money and a giant gold coin with Monty's picture on it rolling after them.
The bunnies come from at the end as the giant koi rolls over Monty instead. Not only did they save their show, but they saved the animator's job too. The network approves the new series and the animator gives a big raise. He asks how he can repay Buster and Babs. So they ask if they could get accredited by credit on the show. The animator responds, "Yeah, in your dreams, pal." They then jump off the page and attack the animator as the episode ends. Despite the fact that the animator disapproves, they actually do end up getting the credit. Thank you very much, Amy. Now, let's go over the characters and their personality.
Characters and personality. Buster Bunny is a male rabbit and leader of the Tiny Toons. He has to deal with the challenges of top school curriculum, the machinations of a rich kid and local bully Montana Max, and the advantages of praise and dippy animal lover Elmira Duff. Like Babs, he will do anything for a laugh, though he is marginally more sane and calm than his female counterpart. Babs is a female performer, a funny bunny who will do nearly anything for a laugh. She is good at improvisational comedy and is a comedic impressionist in the vein of Robin Williams, who died in 2014. In the Buster Bunny Bunch episode segment Born to be Riled, her friends become annoyed with her accurate but unflattering impersonations of them, and they retaliate by impersonating her in return. Like Buster, Babs is usually willing to go out of her way for her friends, such as in the Music Day episode segment Loon Lake, when she sabotages a bunch of Swan Ballet dancer bullies who are trying to thwart Shirley's ballet debut. She is also capable of quick costume changes, often achieved by simply spinning her around in a circle very, very fast. For Plucky Duck, he is a hyperactive and egocentric young duck. He's lovable due to his innate wackiness and tragic and comic flaws. Plucky is driven by blind ambition. He has big dreams of wealth, fame, and power, but he's so desperate to get them, and he always falls victim to his own wild schemes. But monkey much. Plucky has the uncensored mind of a child. He's all selfishness and irrational imagination. Plucky always thinks that he knows best or thinks that he himself is the best. He always has an angle, always has a scheme to dodge work or responsibility. He rarely studies and finishes his homework 5 minutes before the bell, if at all. He's easily frustrated and quick to give up. He can be paranoid, thinking everybody's out to get him. He's insanely jealous, both of Buster's coolness and Monty's bank account. I also just got word that his VA, Joe Alasky, has passed away. May his soul rest in peace. Captain is a good-natured, gullible, and naively optimistic. He's like a good little scout who tries to obey all the rules. And he's also a highly intelligent pig with a huge appetite. He's a warrior who's scared of the world. Shy to a fault, he has low self-esteem. In every situation that requires a decision, fills Hampton with dread. He's riddled with doubts and waffles forever over even the smallest choices. Keep in mind, Billy West provided Hampton's voice after Don Messick had died, only for a few video games that were made after the show ended. So, rest in peace, Don Messick. Inside her Cadillac home, Fifi can also be found lounging on a bed, listening to music, talking on the phone, reading romance stories, and snacking on bonbons, waiting for a potential love interest to come her way. This persistent little guy, Furball, tends to represent the epitome of pathos, a feline version of Chaplin's tramp. Furball is commonly portrayed as an archetype scaredy cat, even though he has the potential to be brave and tough when needed to be. Furball has a heart of gold and can do things for others he would usually not do, and choosing to make friends out of enemies when he can. Although several appearances compare him to Sylvester, there are a few characters that cast him in a more sympathetic light. In these appearances, Furball is an abandoned alley cat constantly looking for a home. The The shorts depicted his misadventures in this goal, such as being mistaken for a dog by a blind couple. Situations that are humorous but also gather pity for the character. He's a lonely cat against the world, but he never gives up hope, much like the legendary comedian Charlie Chaplin. Sweetie Bird grew up tough on the inside and tender on the outside, and her personality depends towards behaving in an amiable manner. But she is prone to a mischievous streak when dealing with her main enemy and longtime pursuer, Furball, which we mentioned earlier. While she's completely sweet, and yet totally diabolical, she is somewhat of a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And as the cutest thing on two wings, she just plays her sweet routine to its limits, posing coyly and acting like a flying Shirley Temple, cozy glow, baby doll, but deep in her heart, she has the survival instincts of an urban werewolf. Dizzy Devil is a rowdy, hyperactive ball of fur and tape. Born permanently hungry, Dizzy is always on the lookout for something to eat, be it a box of pizza rolls, his favorite food, or one of his classmates from Acme University. To Dizzy, most of the other animals are potential food sources, and he also enjoys listening to rock music and watching TV. On that note, I used to have a toy of Dizzy Devil. When I just blew on his gust of wind, he spun around like a top. Go-Go Dodo is the last of his species, according to the characters on the show, and he is a living non-sequitur, the unofficial Wacky Land Goodwill ambassador, ready to disorient any Acme Acres resident who wanders on his bizarre territory. And while the Toons are feeling adventurous, there is a rare chance they might enter Wacky Land. And the speeded bird takes them on a whirlwind tour of this crazy zone, cavorting improbably against the fantastic wacky landscape. Go-Go Dodo shatters every rule of animation. Reality isn't in his bag of tricks, so he actually has his own rules, which means no rules. So he is liable to turn up rowing a rubber raft through the halls of Luniversity, ice skating in midair, drawing doors on the wall and squeezing himself through the keyhole, or turning himself inside out and parading around as a no-pest strip. Shirley is a young clairvoyant loon with extraordinary psychic powers. Her intelligence is somewhat obscured by a thick Valley Girl accent and obsession with superficial New Age paraphernalia. Many characters regard Shirley as a flake, but she takes her skepticism philosophically. I know I'm at one with the spiritual plane because in your next lives, you're all coming back as avocados, so there. Always in a state of unflappable cosmic oneness, Shirley is the spaciest toon in Acme Acres. Unlike Roadrunner's typical bemusement at Wile E. Coyote's misfortunes, Little Beaver is often shown taking great joy at the sight of Calamity's failures. Never passing up a chance to point and laugh at him, it must, however, be noted that Roadrunner can actually be quite sadistic. Example, knocking off Wiley off cliffs he spent ages climbing up. This attitude, however, has backfired him more than once. In the worst scenario, in the Dating Acme Acre style episode segment Love Stinks, Little Beaver ends up looking like a skunk and becomes the romantic target of Fifi LaFew. Poetic justice, perhaps, as Little Beaver spends that entire episode ridiculing Calamity, who had been in a familiar and Nelly situation. As for Calamity Coyote, he's a techno-whiz prodigy. He's a young genius with a lack of jerry-rigging any toy into an instrument of destruction. Little Beaver, the object of his pursuit, is always one step ahead. His experiments generally start out brilliantly, then conclude by blowing up in the coyote's face. Still, the little coyote has perseverance. He just gets back up on his feet only to trip right over them once more. Calamity is jealous of Beaver's athletic prowess and lives for the day where he can catch the fleet-footed bird. To that end, the coyote employs a wide array of Roadrunner catching devices, which he orders from the Acme shopping network. Little Sneezer is very hyper and likes to talk a lot, the latter being similar to Sniffle's later appearances. When Sneezer is not sneezing, he's babbling endlessly about practically nothing, and his excessive chatter drives other characters up the wall. He's an inquisitive mouse with a million questions.
Montana Max is a bullying, spoiled, rich kid who throws world-class temper tantrums, and Monty possesses a nasty personality and a very short temper and uses his own wealth for amusement, often to the discomfort or belittlement of others. His pastimes include counting his capital, landscape deforestation, and rabbit stomping. He also owns heavy polluting devices that make things like elevator buttons and holes. Some episodes feature Plucky fighting those factories as the Toxic Revenger. A pun on the Toxic Avenger. And finally, we have the best for last, Elmira Duff, a young and obsessed with animals and cute things, which is probably why she works at a nurse at Acme University. Even chasing after animals as she knows her classmates at Acme University, obliviously causing great discomfort or serious injury to potential pets from her over-enthusiastic affection and complete lack of even the most rudimentary knowledge in pet care. In this, she is reminiscent of the aforementioned Susie, or even Hugo the Abominable Snowman, who in turn is influenced by Lenny from Of Mice and Men. This is in contrast to Elmer Fudd's well-armed actual intent to violence. Although she is dismissed by Babs and Buster Bunny in the pilot as extremely lame for a villain. The two share a distinct similarity in that both hunt animals well. Elmer hunts them for sport. Elmira intends to love and baby them to death, sometimes literally. Often even diapering the animals such as Plucky in the Pollution Solution episode segment, no disposit, no return of the trash bag dispenser. She does not really mean to mistreat her pets, so she doesn't understand the negative effects of her behavior.
You're a devil! A devil!
Thanks for the addition, Demo Man. Anyway, let's get on to the spoilers, shall we?
Ah, spoiler alert!
Because of its success, Tiny Toons Adventures had 3 specials. One of them is How I Spent My Vacation. The various Tiny Toons characters share adventures they had during the summer after their semester at the university ends. Buster and Babs Bunny have a water pistol fight, which leads to Acme Acres being flooded. The two friends, along with Byron Bassett, float down the river on a table raft and end up in the southern United States, which includes a loose parodies of the movie Deliverance, also from Warner Brothers. Plucky Dog tags along with Hefty J. Pig and his family as they drive to the amusement park Happy World Land. It is a very long and painful trip for Plucky as he suffers many obstacles, including getting chased by an escaped Jason-esque lunatic with a chainsaw and hockey mask, who later chases after Babs and Buster Bunny in minecarts. He endures all of this until at last they arrive at Happy World Land, only to take a tour on the monorail, then go home, severely disappointing Plucky, who wanted to ride the park's legendary ride. Fifi LaFume has her eye on movie star Johnny Pugh, and manages to track him down at the hotel he got. They end up going on a date. Too bad it's not a dream date. Foul-mouthed drags Shirley the Lunacy Skunknophobia, a parody of the 1990 film Arachnophobia, a movie that he has seen 100 times already, and one he will not shut up through. And Elmira Duff has the time of her life at a nature park as the animals run for their lives. There was even a Christmas special. It's a wonderful Tiny Toons Christmas special, and it was also the finale. And it was written by Sherry Stoner and Dina Oliver, and directed by John McClanahan, and it is a parody of the 1946 film It's a Wonderful Life, with Buster Bunny in the role of George Bailey.
And let's not forget about the Tiny Toons Night Gallery. They have the Telltale Vacuum. Plucky expresses a phobia towards Hampton's vacuum cleaner and proceeds to destroy it, deeply regretting it afterward. Sneezer and the Sneezing Ghost, which Hazel demands that Furball catch Sneezer the Sneezing Ghost, but Furball liquidates himself trying. The Devil Dog on the Moors. The locals of the Moors are scared by the presence of the Demon Dog. of which Babs has never heard, and it turned out to be Byron Bassett. For fuel, Calamity is repeatedly run over by a field truck driven by a little beaker. Daniel Leadfoot the Devil, Plucky as Daniel Leadfoot, heads to Montana Max's mansion to confront Satan and bring judgment to Monty. His plan backfires. And as for Holtback Duck, Plucky and Buster head to Horsehead Manor, which Plucky inherited from his Uncle Mortimer. Plucky keeps seeing nasty creatures, while Buster notices nothing. Night of the Living Doll, Go-Go Dodo and his friends from Luckyland are pursued by dealers and advertisers. Frankenmyra and Dizzy Gore. Elmira, as Dr. Frankenmyra, has brought the materials to create her very own cuddly pet. When she activates the abomination, it makes a pet out of her in her style. And finally, a gremlin on a wing during a flight. Plucky spots a gremlin sabotaging the plane's wing and engine, and barely prevents the plane's destruction.
Overall, Tiny Toons Adventures was one of the best shows in the Warner Brothers animation shows on Kids WB or Fox Kids, so it's one of the most memorable shows out there. So with everything all the fans said online, it's a cult classic and deserves the Team Pikachu Most Valuable Show. So if you want to relive your childhood, please watch it on Hulu, and most importantly, buy it from Warner Archive. So next time, we'll go over Tasmania. We apologize that we have one more plot left to talk about.
Thanks for watching, everybody! What do you think? If you appreciate it, please be sure to super smash that like button, and also be sure to follow my social media platforms in the description below, and Team Lifelight's stand-up channels. And be sure to follow my Instagram at Pikachu and Sonic222 and my DeviantArt. Please be sure to leave a comment below and give us your open-minded thoughts, and we here at Team Lifelight's stand-ups do not condone harassment or trolls allowed. Or otherwise, Red Howard from Comedy Central's The Red and Stimpy Show will hunt you down to the ends of the Shadow Realm. Please be sure to subscribe to our channels and click the notification bell. You'll never miss a video the second it goes live on YouTube and Google. Smartphone users, please be sure to press the button down there. And PC and laptop users, please be sure to click the subscribe button. Keep that in mind, and we'll see you all on the flip side. Bye-bye!
And that's a wrap.